We've all been there, sitting in a parked car, staring at the front door of a workplace that drains us, or lying awake in a city that feels like a tight shoe, wondering why we can't just leave. There is a specific kind of quiet desperation in waiting for a situation to change when all the evidence suggests it won't. It's not just indecision. It's a complex tug-of-war between our biological hardware and the cold, hard logic of time. To understand why we stay, we have to look at the psychological anchors we drop without even realizing it. The heaviest of these is the sunk cost fallacy. It's that nagging voice that says, "I've already put 5 years into this career," or "We've been together since college." We treat our past effort like an investment we're trying to protect, forgetting that the time is already spent. You can't get those 5 years back by staying for a sixth. You only risk losing another year. But our brains hate waste, so we keep pouring good energy after bad, hoping to eventually break even on our emotional investment. Then there's the intermittent reinforcement trap. This is the same mechanism that keeps people pulling the lever on a slot machine. If a job was 100% terrible every single day, you'd leave. But it isn't. Every few weeks, there's a great meeting, a compliment from the boss, or a happy hour that feels like the old days. These tiny, unpredictable crumbs of good keep us hooked. We start viewing the bad days as the exception and the rare good days as the potential new normal. We stay because we're waiting for the fluke to become the standard. But eventually, the emotional weight becomes too much, and that's when we need to pivot from feeling to calculating. If you want to know when to quit, you have to look at the math of your own life. Think of your life as a series of bets. Every day you stay in a bad situation, you are making a bet that the future value of staying is higher than the value of leaving. To calculate this, we use a concept called expected value. In simple terms, it's the probability of a positive outcome multiplied by the benefit of that outcome. If you're staying in a dead-end job hoping for a promotion, you have to be honest. What is the actual percentage chance of that happening? If it's a 10% chance of a raise versus a 90% chance of continued burnout, the math tells you that you are losing life equity every single day. There is also the opportunity cost, which is perhaps the most expensive hidden tax we pay. Every hour you spend trying to fix a relationship that won't mend or a city that doesn't fit is an hour you are spending finding the thing that actually works. We often frame quitting as starting from zero, but that's mathematically false. You aren't starting from zero, you're starting from experience. The cost of staying is the life you are living while you busy being miserable. A great tool for this is the time horizon test. Ask yourself, if I were looking back at this moment from 5 years in the future, would I regret leaving too early or staying too long? Almost universally, people regret the time they wasted trying to breathe life into something that was already dead. We fear the short-term spike of pain that comes with a breakup or a career change, but we ignore the long-term, low-grade chronic pain of a life that is just okay. The math of quitting also involves understanding the law of diminishing returns. In the beginning of a struggle, effort usually leads to results. But in bad situations, you eventually hit a point where more effort actually yields less progress. You're spinning your tires in the mud. The harder you push, the deeper you sink. When your input no longer changes the output, the system is broken. At that point, leaving isn't an act of failure, it's an act of optimization. Quitting is often stigmatized as giving up, but in reality, it is a strategic reallocation of resources. Your time, your energy, and your joy are finite resources. You are the CEO of your own life, and if a department of your life, be it a job or a relationship, is consistently operating at a loss despite every intervention, it is your job to shut it down. So, look at the data. Stop listening to the what-ifs and start looking at the what is. If the trajectory of the last 6 months were to continue for the next 6 years, would you be happy? If the answer is no, the math is done. The only thing left to do is gather the courage to follow the numbers. You don't owe your past self a future of misery just because you made a choice once that doesn't serve you anymore. It's okay to cut your losses. It's okay to move on. Because the most valuable asset you have isn't your history, it's the time you have left.